Hello, Be Smart viewers. Welcome back to another engaging episode of Manager's Mantra, where we connect with industry leaders who are shaping the future of business management. Today, we have with us Rahul Kanuganti, the founder and CEO of Flytta Green, a company focused on green logistics, freight electrification, AI driven route optimization, and multimodal sustainable supply chains. He works closely with manufacturing, infrastructure, and logistics intensive industries. Without waiting further, let's jump right into this insightful discussion.
Hi, Rahul. A very good morning to this new session of Managers Mantra. And we are really thankful to that you took out some time to participate in this session. We are very sure that this is going to be a very impactful session for all the viewers.
Thank you for having me, Abhishek. Very good morning to you. And very excited to share my learnings and insights on the particular topic that you have advised to share today. And yeah, looking forward to speaking about it.
Okay, sure, Rahul. So, let us just jump into into discussing the questions. Rahul, my first question to you is that India's EV narrative, it has largely been built around passenger vehicles and two-wheelers. Now, why do you believe this heavy-duty freight remains a blind spot in this transition? What are the biggest barriers to electrify them? Is it cost, technology, infrastructure, policy? What is your take on this?
I think fundamentally, yes, the story began with the passenger vehicles back in late 2010 and 2012, and the we learned from various countries, and we started importing electric cars. But prior to that, we had Mahindra Reva, who was there and who's the first mover for electric car. Unfortunately, we had no space for heavy duty trucks. I think that was all because of the demand itself. And second, no one anticipated the crisis that we are looking at today. The country, India perspective, we were not fully inclined towards various ESG frameworks and policies. Hence, government did not take an initiative. So was there's a whole concept. There's a gap in the visibility itself. So I think that's picking up today. Second, yes, passenger-led EVs. It's more accessible because we started focusing on uh, decarbonization in urban and metros. If you look at the challenges that we possess today, if you look at the heavy duty EV trucks, it's significantly expensive, the higher upfront costs. Second, there are hardly any government incentives, unlike the passenger EV vehicles. Most importantly, the charging infrastructure. Today, the kind of charging infrastructure that government is creating, or the public charging infrastructure that's present today, doesn't support the industrial usage. So fundamentally, if you look at the highest amount of decarbonization, is actually should be focused on heavy duty trucks and buses. Unfortunately, that's not being done. And there's hardly any policy visibility. And I believe, and the industry believes today, that a policy from the government with a strong push towards heavy duty EV trucks will actually bring the reforms and will contribute to decarbonization. The significant amount of the carbon emissions today happens with within the industrial corridors. Any industrial corridor, the cement companies that you take, or the mines that you take, where a lot of mineral mining happens, or if you look at the corridors where the logistics parks built outside of the cities, right? And This trucks plying between one point to other point, that's strangely contributing to about 80 to 85% whereas the passenger vehicle segment contributes to only 15%. Hence, the time has now come. There is, yes, I believe, yes, there's blind spot, but it can be done in a fashion where government will start looking at this industry seriously. Number one. Second, have policies beyond just a single PME drive policy today, which brings a upfront subsidy about 10%. But also, government should focus on the charging infrastructure. Also, look at the life of financing. Today, the financing aspect is completely missing. Hence, it should start from there. So more accessibility in a trucking segment. If you traditionally look at an individual possesses, any individual can go and possess 2 to 3 trucks. But for a EV truck is concerned, since the upfront costs are high and accessibility to the financing itself is very difficult today. Individuals are not able to, or individual or small business owners are not able to go and pick up these trucks. That's the challenge that we have today.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Rahul, the charging infrastructure is improving for cars, but then how far behind are we when it comes to fleet grade or highway charging for trucks?
The fleet grade trucks are hardly any. Best example I'll tell you, in our case or most of the cases, were solving for the industrial sector. Specifically, when I say industrial sector, or solving for corridors for the mines, for the cement companies, steel companies. These require dedicated effort. And when you say dedicated effort, these are charging stations which are upwards of 300 kilowatt, 400 kilowatt chargers, and multiple chargers. You create a bay, you create a parking bay. Uh, uh, we don't see this today in India, so that's an expenditure logistics service provider is picking up today. So they are incurring the cost. Second, the way it can be solved is primarily identifying select corridors, industrial corridors. What if you look at I was in Netherlands about a few months ago, and the within their industrial corridor in Netherlands closer to Amsterdam, I've seen the Netherlands government come up with a space for about 100 trucks to be parked and charged at any given point of time. Right. So that sort of infrastructure needs to be created in India, and it can start with a few particular states where there is high acceptance of electric vehicles. Government already has the data, so based on the data, if they start looking at and also match it with the industrial demands, if these things come together and they put up a charging infrastructure and standardize it for the heavy vehicles specifically, including the charging protocols, then it becomes much more easier, right? Much more easier to have full focus on the fleet grade charging infrastructure. Number one. Second, utilization also, right? I think the utilization for a heavy duty EV truck is significantly high, unlike the chargers that you see for two-wheelers and four-wheelers, the passenger vehicles. So I think from that perspective, the infra should come with smart infrastructure. There should be sufficient backing, because any downtime in trucking activity is very expensive for the industry, for the logistics service provider as well. So it's time for you to think to create a fleet grade infrastructure and also smart infrastructure.
Okay, thank you so much, Rahul. Rahul, government incentives have accelerated, the adoption in segments supported by schemes like we have seen FAME 2. Do you think current policies adequately address the heavy duty electrification?
No, I don't think we are anywhere closer to what it is with other countries. I think, yes, we have a PME drive program, which is again, it offset, there's a dependency. You need to scrap your old vehicle and get a scrap certificate to avail. And there's only one logistics service provider today that has got the PME Drive certification. Um, I think it should be beyond this, where if you look at a large scale implementation or large scale acceptance of heavy duty EV trucks, you need viability gap funding, right? So government should fund to up to certain extent. Maharashtra government is doing a bit of it. I think they have come up with a good EV policy for heavy duty trucks. Second, industrial cluster should where if you are going and acquiring land in an industrial cluster, it's very expensive from what you get in a city atmosphere. Uh, so that way, there's a car subsidy that needs to be given. The fuel cost today, there's a perception that EV vehicle, if you adopt, there's a cost saving significantly, but actual cost saving is not too high. There is a cost saving, no doubt about it, but I think it will be looked at on an overall life of the vehicle, so that can come down when government starts giving better tariffs for the power that is consumed for charging. So the charging infrastructure power, wherever the companies are setting up, it is important to get at a subsidized price. So they encourage, you know what's happening today, right? The West Asia crisis. We have shortage of fuel in certain locations, and we already started to see the heat. So there's high dependency, and there's 100% inclination towards decarbonization and dependency on alternate fuels. Since EVs are already there, at least we see close to 1,000 EVs, heavy duty EV trucks up and running across India. I think now government should push and start looking at financing infrastructure, subsidizing the tariffs, and rationalizing the power. So if they come, then you meet your goals. You also meet your the current demands, and there, from an energy security standpoint, I think we'll be in a very better condition without having dependency on the fossil fuels.
Thank you, Rahul. Do you think India should be, kind of prioritizing dedicated freight EV corridors or green logistic zones at this stage?
I think, Abhishek, we cannot have freight corridors. Maybe we can look at it as a green logistic zones, primarily because if you look at this whole clusters, right, where dense amount of transportation activities happen, right, are primarily fixed usage activity where there is heavy minerals, like for example, today adoption by the steel and cement industry. So wherever there are minerals within an adjacent area of 200 to 250 kilometers is where a large number of manufacturing industries are set up, the core manufacturing industries. So that zone becomes green logistics zone, right? And that particular zone where can be qualified as a cluster, that particular cluster is where infrastructure development can happen, number one, right? It is not uniformly across multiple highways, so having an EV freight corridor will not make much sense. Uh, uh, and these are probably, if you look at pan India, there'll be somewhere about 200 odd zones, 200 to 220 odd zones. Even if you look at the growth anticipation over the next 5 years, they'll not cross more than 250 zones. So if you focus on these 250 zones, and infrastructure can be created across these 250 zones, there is a significant impact that government would make across the ecosystem. The government will benefit, the LSPs will benefit, the industries will benefit. So does the economy that will benefit.
Rahul, what kind of business opportunities do you see emerging in the EV ecosystem? Infra, financing, fleet tech, or energy?
I think today there are new and smart infrastructure service providers who are evolving in this particular space, primarily with respect to charging, the technology aspects of charging, the technology. There is also a concept of BESS, and there is also concepts of battery subscription, battery as a subscription models to reduce the upfront cost. So within the charging infrastructure, you have financing, you have management, where now the companies are ready to take up infrastructure on lease basis, and then operate it for other companies. LSPs, some of the LSPs are willing to look at operating, but they don't have operations background. So those logistics companies have got a lot of operational expertise, are coming together and driving and executing the operations for the LSPs, or the manufacturer, or the OEMs itself. Sometimes in specific cases, there are OEMs or outsourcing the operations part. Then the obviously the power management. So there are large companies who are ready to invest on the green infrastructure, with respect to creating grids, the green electrons, the solar, the wind. So that's also happening across select corridors. We are doing something in Assam today. So there is significant scope for because decarbonization doesn't just end with the truck, electric truck. It also the green electrons the coming in. So the circular economy will make it full. So that's one. Fleet financing, there are multiple aspects. There are leasing companies now picking up. They're able to borrow at a cheaper price outside of India, and then offer it to our logistics service provider. So there are a lot of contract based, utilization based leasing companies who have come, financial lease, operating lease, etc. Then integrated logistics players like us. So what we do today, we take up the truck. We acquire the trucks. We get the charging infrastructure. We also have a logistics expertise of about 10 plus years. So we get the technology aspect. We already have an AI based platform. Then we integrated with the charging infrastructure, customize the layer for contracts. And I believe there'll be about 2, 3 players over the period of 5 years, next 5 years, who will also build integrated logistics, EV logistics platform like us. Um, and yeah, I think there is significant scope, like how the diesel truck ecosystem was born back about 25, 30 years. Uh, and there are large companies today, SRM, VRL, the large logistics service providers, TCI, etc. Uh, there are new age companies who are coming up in EV space with a lot of other options.
Thank you so much, Rahul. That was really insightful. So, with this, we come to the last question, which is about skill development. A lot of MBA students, management students watching this session, they would, want to be in the EV industry. They aspire to be in the EV industry after, coming out of their studies. Uh, now, uh, now, what kind of skills do you think are needed to give that dream a shape so that that can be turned into reality? What are those maybe some five most important skills that you think are necessary to build a good career in the EV space?
So fundamental advice to build a career in the EV space is to get your hands on ground. Number one, right? I think that remains a fundamental skill any business student should pick up today. Get your hands on the ground. And if you look at, let's say, 5 activities, right? So we can look at charging as a business, financing as a business, the supply chain as a business, the technology angle as a business, then the OEM management as a business, right? So these 5 layers together contributes to the heavy duty EV ecosystem. And if these 5 layers, and if one individual would like to pick up an MBA student want to pick up a skill, then get your hands dirty on that particular subject, right? I think a lot of new age EV companies like us are looking for individuals who have got, of course, who've done business management, because it's important to have. It's no more the traditional AI tech, or it's no more the software part of software style of implementation. You need to look at business economics, right? Your unit economics should make sense. Your viability, wherever in the contract, should also kick in. So there are a lot of aspects of making this economically viable. So anywhere between energy, that's the charging infrastructure, the financing, the supply chain. Again, why supply chain is because it's important on how do you, when you sign up a contract, how do you structure the contract? Number one. Second, how do you structure your operations based on the type of contract that you sign? So so a lot of MBA supply chain students who are out there should start looking at getting their hands-on expertise on EV logistics, because this is going to change. It's not going to be the same uh, style of the traditional fossil the diesel trucks, the ice trucks. Right? I think that's where I stand. Second, the cycle management, right? I think students should also look at the financing aspect. The long cycles of financing are missing today, and I think a lot of students can come up with a new solutions, and customize the financing based on the type of contract. So to do so, they can get their hands-on experience by working with the EV companies, interning with the EV companies, or anywhere across the ecosystem, be it charging, be it OEMs, be it contracts. Uh, our clients, so the cement companies, the steel companies, the mineral and mining companies, they are also looking at having separate or special dedicated teams who will run the EV logistics specially. So that's also a place where students can get their hands dirty.
Thank you so much, Rahul. So, with that, we come to the end of the session. I'm sure you have also enjoyed the session, and I'm sure that all the viewers watching this would just love the session. We hope to stay connected with you and have you again for any of our future sessions. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you for having me here. And yeah, I'm happy to share all my insights and learnings. Very thankful to all the viewers who would enjoy this session as well. Thank you.
So that's a wrap on this episode of Manager's Mantra. Thank you, Rahul, for sharing your insights on India's EV space and providing career suggestions for the management students. Be smart viewers, we hope you found this conversation helpful. Share your thoughts with us at bsmart.edit@bsml.in. Follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram for more such insightful and inspiring content. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing.